Malaysia's economy to grow despite global conflict. Sarawak to begin administering a second booster shot. And China Eastern black boxes severely damaged. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, everyone. You're with me, Douglas Elliott, and this is TVS Nightline. At least 4 people were killed and 16 more injured after the missile strike hit Kharkiv on Tuesday, April 19. Bodies could be seen outside apartment blocks killed by shrapnels from damaged buildings caused by the attack.
В охране, вот здесь недалеко. Каждый день ходил покушать брал, каждый день. Начались обстрелы, мы все разбежались, дошли сюда, дедушка уже лежит мертвый.
Хорошо, что никто не выскочил на площадке на этажах, потому что все стекло начало падать просто вовнутрь подъезда. Вовнутрь. Огромное количество стекла, мелкого и крупного, поэтому было бы очень много раненых, а может даже и вообще жертв. Попадание вон в 9-й этаж. Видите, вон 9-й этаж вообще раздроблен полностью, он прошел, но там пожара не было. Видно, прошло и пробило все.
Kharkiv is Ukraine's main eastern city, located close to the supply lines for Russian troops advancing to Donbass. Russia have successfully seized its first town, Kreminna, after unleashing an all-out attack dubbed the Battle of Donbass, a campaign to take 2 Ukraine provinces.
The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has made its first assessment on the impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict globally. IMF predicts the global economy to slow down by 3.6% in 2022 and 2023. Some of the possibility includes social unrest, as energy and food prices will rise to extreme levels. Now, to understand the economic impact of the war to Malaysia, we have insights from Shan Said, who is the chief economist at Juai IQI. Mr. Shan, the IMF projected the global economy will grow by 3.6% this year, much softer than previously predicted. And this is largely attributed to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. As a trading nation ourselves, how would we be affected by the soft growth? And what about macroeconomic stability in Malaysia? What's the view from IQI Global?
I think, in my opinion, the global economy will slow down much further. The figures projected by IMF, they are much on the higher side. According to Juai IQI, the global economy will not recover before 2025. So these figures, I don't know how did they come up with these figures. The global economy will continue to slow. Europe is already in a very deep economic. Global economy will continue to have an abysmally low growth rate for the next 3 years, and it will only recover in 2025. As far as Malaysia is concerned, if you pick up the latest news, in March, Malaysia Trade and Commerce has touched 236 billion ringgit. Despite global economic fragilities, despite slowdown, despite many countries are still facing COVID challenges, Malaysia has come out much stronger. Economy has opened up. As of today, that is 20th April, 300,000 visitors have arrived in Malaysia. That has really boosted the economy. Moreover, 99% of the population is vaccinated, stable infrastructure, government is committed to support business. And above all, the most important variable for Malaysia is the domestic consumption, the aggregate demand. That is moving forward. So it's a good start for Malaysia for this year. And we at Juai IQI, we continue to believe and we stand buoyant on Malaysia's economic outlook that stands between 4 and 5%. And I think government will continue to maintain macroeconomic stability. That is the key for global investors.
Thank you, Mr. Shan, for the insight. Now back home, Sarawak will begin administering the second COVID-19 booster dose beginning Friday, April 22nd. Deputy Premier of Sarawak and State Disaster Management Committee Chairman Dr. Amar Douglas Uga Umbas said the recipients would be split into 2 categories.
According to Uga, the first category is for individuals aged 60 years and above with high comorbidities. The second is for individuals with moderate or severe immunocompromised 12 years of age and above. The vaccination would be done at all vaccination centers PPV at government clinics, private hospitals, and private clinics. Therefore, he urged all those qualified and interested to contact their respective vaccination centers to book their appointments. As of April 19th, over 1.6 million eligible individuals, or 90% of the state's population, had received their booster dose. He also urged another 182,000 eligible individuals who have yet to receive the booster dose to get their shots soon.
China's aviation authorities said on Wednesday that the black boxes of the China Eastern Airlines that crashed last month were badly damaged. The crash, China's first deadly air accident since 2010, killed 132 people on board. In a statement, the Civil Aviation Administration of China, CAAC, did not make public any information from the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder that was sent to Washington for analysis. CAAC said that the flight crew was qualified, the jet was properly maintained, and the weather was fine when flight MU5735, which was en route from Kunming to Guangzhou, plunged from cruising altitude and crashed in the mountains of Guangxi on March 21st. Chinese aviation experts said the preliminary findings showed there was no issue with the flight procedures, which meant data from the black boxes would be key to determining the cause of the crash. CAAC said that it had completed the preliminary report, which must be filed to United Nations Aviation Agency ICAO within 30 days. A final report could take a year or more to complete. The last normal call from air traffic controllers to the plane was at 2:16 p.m. local time while it was cruising at 8,900 meters, less than 5 minutes before the plane began to deviate from its normal path as tracked by controllers in Guangzhou. At 2:21 p.m., the last information of the plane was recorded on radar before the signal disappeared. China Eastern, which grounded its entire fleet of 737-800 planes after the crash, resumed commercial flights using the aircraft type on Sunday. The 737-800 is a predecessor to the 737 MAX, which has not resumed commercial service in China more than 3 years after 2 deadly crashes. The Implementation Coordination Unit, or ICU, from the Prime Minister's office is committed to eradicate hardcore poor in Sarawak. Its Director General, Dr. Ruji Ubi, is optimistic that the target can be achieved and realized by 2025.
So Sarawak ada antara negeri yang mempunyai bilangan miskin-miskin tegar yang kita usahakan untuk sifar miskin tegar by 2025. Jadi ini antara perkara-perkara yang dibincang oleh pihak saya selaku Ketua Pengarah ICU JPM bersama dengan Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak sebentar tadi.
He said this after paying a courtesy call to the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, at Wisma Bapa Malaysia on Wednesday. According to Ruji, the unit will also ensure the coordination of projects in the state will improve.
Yang itu menjadi perhatian Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak juga supaya projek-projek yang telah dirancang dapat dilaksanakan dengan kerjasama semua pihak di antara pihak agensi kerajaan persekutuan dan juga pihak agensi kerajaan negeri.
A total allocation of 4.1 billion ringgit has been approved in the 12th Malaysian Plan 12 MP for Sarawak.
Political analyst, Associate Professor Dr. Awang Azman Awang Pawi was in view that the anti-hopping bill should be discussed among the State Assembly and also receive the unanimous approval of the Assembly members. He added that the bill should be brought up to the state level so that it can be adapted to the needs and interests of the people of Sarawak.
Berhubung rang undang-undang anti lompat parti, saya kira jalan terbaik untuk mendapat persetujuan dalam konteks di Sarawak, ia perlu dibawa di Dewan Undangan Negeri untuk disesuaikan dengan keperluan dan kepentingan negeri Sarawak. Jika ini dilakukan, maka ia boleh menjadikan undang-undang di peringkat persetujuan ini juga sah di peringkat undangan negeri jika dibawa ke Dewan Undangan Negeri, disesuaikan juga dengan keperluan negeri dan mendapat persetujuan penuh daripada Dewan Undangan Negeri.
The final decision has to be approved by the Premier of Sarawak to ensure that no representative will jump parties in the future. However, he said it should be conducted in a refined and transparent manner so it is not being abused by any party.
Saya kira inilah yang perlu dilakukan oleh Premier Sarawak bagi memastikan terdapat kesinambungan, terdapat persamaan dan terdapat keazaman politik untuk memastikan tidak ada wakil rakyat yang cuba untuk melompat parti ataupun melakukan lompat parti. Tapi ini perlu dilakukan dengan cara telus dan diperhalusi agar rang undang-undang tersebut tidak disalahgunakan oleh pihak parti tertentu bagi mengenakan terhadap wakil rakyat yang barangkali yang dianggap sebagai ancaman mereka atau yang mempunyai hubungan dingin terutamanya dengan presiden parti, sesebuah presiden parti tersebut.
Meanwhile, a discussion was conducted in order to get the approval of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah and His Excellency Sarawak Head of State Tun Pehin Sri Abdul Taib Mahmud before it can be enforced in the state of Sarawak. Therefore, Wan Junaidi said the measure to strengthen political stability in the state is right. Right after the break, floating body discovered of Batang Lupa, Netflix losing subscribers, and a man suing his company for an unwanted surprise birthday party. All this and more only on TVS Nightline. We'll be back. You're watching TVS Nightline. A decomposed body was found afloat off Kampong Bulyong Jetty Terminal in Batang Lupa on Wednesday. The gruesome discovery came as the search and rescue operation for the missing boatman of Pulau Burong enters its third day.
According to Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department Bomba spokesperson, the body, identified as 21-year-old Indonesian national Peter Nusantarawas, discovered at around 2:03 p.m. and was fished out of the water at 3:20 p.m. before being handed over to the police for further investigation. Peter, who was part of the Gloria 2 crew member and was reported missing since April 18. The case is separate from the fallen boatman incident, whose multi-agency search and rescue operation was suspended around 3:45 p.m.
4 local men were arrested for suspicion of being involved in drug dealing activities after failing to flee a team of police in Sarawak yesterday. A video of the incident that went viral on social media showed the car, which was occupied by all 4 suspects, hit 2 cars in its attempt to escape from the police.
Sarawak Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department Chief Assistant Commissioner Mustafa Kamal Ghani Abdullah said the suspects, aged between 20 and 34 years old, were arrested at 2:30 p.m. in front of a commercial building in Sato. According to Mustafa, officers have also seized 103 grams of methamphetamine and 64 Aramin 5 pills worth 13,200 ringgit. He added that all 4 suspects are currently being detained under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. The suspects are also being investigated under Section 15(1)(a) of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 for drug abuse. Meanwhile, Padawan Police Chief Superintendent Abang Zainal Abidin Abang Ahmad did not deny the possibility that the 4 suspects were the same group who escaped an arrest attempt in 4th Mile last April 18. In the April 18 incident, a police officer fired a shot at the suspect's front left wheel, but the suspect managed to escape. However, all 4 suspects denied their involvement in the incident.
A 43-year-old man was found dead after he lost control of his machine earlier today. Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Bingkok John said in the 7:45 a.m. incident, the deceased, identified as Rahmat Ismail, veered into the oncoming traffic and collided with a lorry driven by a 65-year-old man. The body has been sent to Sarawak General Hospital's mortuary for post-mortem. The lorry driver has since been detained to facilitate in the investigation under Section 41(1) of the Road Transport Act 1987. Both vehicles are also confiscated. Meanwhile, a total of 528 out of 663 Rohingya detainees had escaped from the temporary immigration detention depot in Sungai Bakar, Penang at 4:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Out of the total, 362 were recaptured, while search efforts are still ongoing to track down the remaining illegal immigrants.
Ramai 528 tahanan melepaskan diri daripada jumlah 663. Orang ramai juga telah ataupun orang kampung telah menahan 88 dan menyerahkan kembali kepada pihak immigration.
Immigration Director General Datuk Seri Khairul Zaimi Daud in a statement said they escaped after breaking the door of the block and the barrier grill. Meanwhile, 6 of the 528 Rohingya detainees who escaped from the Sungai Bakap Immigration Detention Depot died on the spot after being hit by vehicles while crossing the southbound North-South Expressway.
So, dalam usaha melepaskan diri pagi tadi pada jam 6.50 di kilometer 165 lebuh raya yang sama, 6 daripada tahanan tersebut telah terlibat di dalam kemalangan jalan raya yang meragut nyawa 6 orang, 2 lelaki dewasa, 2 wanita dewasa, 1 kanak-kanak perempuan, 1 kanak-kanak lelaki. So jumlah yang terlibat dalam kemalangan ialah sebanyak 6 orang dan kita masih lagi mencari baki seramai 205 orang.
Meanwhile, members of the public with information on the escapees' whereabouts are urged to inform the Immigration Department or the police immediately.
Thank you for staying with us. Streaming giant Netflix lost over 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of the year, the first time in more than a decade. The company also predicted a bleak outlook in the second quarter, as it predicted to lose another 2 million subscribers.
The news sent its stock tumbling more than 20% in aftermarket trading on Tuesday, erasing more than $30 billion or 128 billion ringgit in market value. The streaming company blamed inflation, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and fierce competition as contributing factors. Its decision in early March to suspend services in Russia after it invaded Ukraine also resulted in the loss of 700,000 members. Following the news, Netflix's co-CEO Reed Hastings said for the first time that it is open to the idea of offering lower-priced subscriptions with advertising. The company is also looking to generate additional revenue from customers who share their accounts with friends or family outside their home. The company's poor results on Tuesday also affected other video streaming-related stocks, with Roku dropping over 6%, while Disney falling 3% and Warner Bros. Discovery down 2%.
We wrap up Nightline tonight with a bit of a peculiar story, as a man from Kentucky was awarded $450,000 in a lawsuit against his former employer for causing him a series of panic attacks. Kevin Burling told his company not to celebrate his birthday at work due to him suffering from anxiety disorders and panic attacks, but his request was disregarded completely. Burling's lawyer Tony Butcher stated his client had to exit his office to recover from a state of panic in his car. For the next few days, he was confronted and criticized for his disability, triggering several more panic attacks, which later led to his unwarranted termination the following week. The lawsuit stated that Burling's managers read him the riot act and accused him of stealing other co-workers' joy. His co-workers have also asked Burling to stop using coping mechanisms such as hugging himself, which he refused, and prompted them to isolate him. The breakdown of the $450,000 awarded to Burling include $120,000 in lost wages and benefits, $30,000 in future lost wages and benefits, and $300,000 for past, present, and future mental pain and suffering. The person in charge of organizing the surprise birthday party did not intentionally dismiss Burling's request, but flat out forgot his prepositions. And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For more headlines, head to our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching.